I'm Jeff.
And I'm DeAndre.
And we're the land flipping empire, and we just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard.
My bass hitting hard and my pockets on full. I got it out the streets, I ain't never go to school. I play the rear view.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. We right back at it, y'all. We got a special one coming for y'all. We got DeAndre and Jeff from the land flipping empire jumping off the porch with us today. What's up with it, fellas?
Man, what's going on, brother?
What's good?
Yes,
Blessed
sir.
to be here, man.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up, jumping off the porch with us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, we have a variety of people coming to sit on the porch, and share knowledge. And you guys are definitely coming with some dope knowledge that's really needed. I feel like financial literacy, understanding ownership and things like that, are very important, for the black community, for, minorities, or, I hate to sound corporate like that, but just for black folk, man, like we just, we need to know, people of color, we need to know how to spend money, how to build wealth, things like that. Can you just talk to me about like how the idea kind of sparked, for you guys to come in and teach people how to flip land?
Yeah, so it kind of started from us. So we started flipping, vacant lots roughly about 4 to 5 years ago. And then we was just like kind of putting out stuff on Instagram, Facebook, not intentional for people to like come and ask questions, but naturally people started asking us questions. Hey, how do you find a buyer? How do you find a seller? Can you help me with these contracts and stuff like that? So we were helping these people, right? But we didn't know it was going to lead to this, So they just kept asking and asking, and then it kind of got overwhelming.
Yeah.
So then we came up with the idea, let's create something, let's set up something to where we can put everybody in one place, like some type of community, and then we can answer everybody's questions at once. We can address everybody's concerns versus doing it on Instagram, Facebook. It's all unorganized. I may not remember who you are, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of dysfunctional, So, and then other people was actually suggesting it too. Hey, why don't you and they kept asking, do you guys have a course? Are you guys gonna come out with a course or something? I would definitely love to learn from you guys. So then that's what just sparked, I think we should do something like that.
Okay, word. And before we dive into it too deep, definitely want to, get a better understanding of like your guys' backstories and, kind of where you guys are from. Can you both just introduce yourself and just start off by at least saying like where you from, and then I'll kind of tap in and ask other questions.
I'll start off first, man. So my name is Jeffrey Altador, 28 years old. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Grew up, born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Grew up actually playing in sports. Got a chance to get a scholarship to go to college to play basketball at a Division I college. And after college, man, I was lost. You know what I'm saying?
Like a lot of college students, bro.
Dude,
like a lot
of athletes out here. They come into the real world and it's like, damn, man, the ball stops bouncing. They stop scoring touchdowns, and it's like they kind of start to lose their identity. And I was going through that myself. I kind of was trying to figure myself out, was jumping from job to job, landed a corporate job, working at Enterprise back in 2019. That's where I met DeAndre. And from there, kind of connected with him. He was actually already starting his wholesaling journey. In the beginning, he was actually wholesaling houses. And at first, I didn't know, I was still unfamiliar to the space. But when I met DeAndre, he kind of put me on game and was like, yo, bro, there's a whole different world out here. There's people making $5, $10, $100,000 a month just flipping a piece of paper. And at first, I couldn't wrap my head around it because, me coming from, obviously, a Haitian background, all I knew growing up was go to school, go to college, right, get a degree and get a good job. I thought the only type of people that were making large amounts of money were athletes, rappers, and obviously drug dealers and scammers.
Yeah. And Haitian parents are strict.
Yeah, my parents were strict. So after school, that's what I did. I felt like I completed the goals. Right. I went to school, I got a degree, I had a decent job. I was making $40K a year. I thought I was actually living the American dream, but when I met DeAndre, he told me, dude, we're behind. And that's when everything changed.
That's what's up, man. And DeAndre, you're from Fort Lauderdale as well?
Yeah, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, but specifically I'm from Lauderhill.
Okay.
So I'm from Lauderhill, Florida. I'm 28 years old. I basically grew up in the streets. I started, in the streets early. I'm saying about probably 12 years old.
Yeah.
Just being a knucklehead, just doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually, as I got older, I started to realize like this isn't the way. A lot of my friends were either, going to jail, or they started dying, dead or in jail, 6 feet under, stuff like that. So I just decided I wanted to just choose a different path, and I did start playing football. I was playing sports, all right. But then when I got an injury, I figured, man, so the sports isn't going to be the thing, because I paralyzed my shoulder. So I was actually unable to play sports at a point in time. So I just had to figure out what I was going to do. So I did end up going to college, and then it just kind of, so I paralyzed my shoulder when I was basically playing sports. And then I figured, I kind of figured it was over, so I went to college, and then I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I discovered a friend who kind of got me into entrepreneurship. And then I started looking deep into it, and I figured out about, wholesaling. And that's kind of what it took me to from there.
Wow. Okay. Word. So you say you jumped off the porch around 12 years old?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember the conditions, or like what were the things happening around you that forced you into that lifestyle?
It's definitely, environment plays a huge role, because I was young, I was a sponge, and then everybody that was outside, they was smoking weed, they was fighting, they was going to parties. Everybody wanted to be cool, act like they was, all hood and stuff. So I would definitely say the environment played a role into it, and it was a lot of peer pressure to do certain things that you probably wouldn't do. Yeah. So being 12 years old, I just did whatever they told me to do, whether it was good or bad. I didn't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And at what point did you decide that it was time to make a change? Was it like a drastic situation that happened, or?
So I would definitely say it was one day. One day we was on the stairs smoking weed one day, and then I just decided, like, you know what, I'm just not gonna smoke no more. I don't want to smoke weed. I'm good off that, And then when I stopped doing that, I kind of noticed that they didn't really want to hang with me no more. And I'm just like, all right, so I see what it is. I'm not doing what y'all doing, so now I'm not a part of the group no more.
Right.
So that day is kind of what switched, and then from there the relationship just kind of drifted apart. When I just decided I'm not smoking no more, I'm not doing none of that no more. I hang with y'all, but I don't want to smoke. But the smoking led to just not being around them at all anymore at all.
Yeah. Word. And Jeff, can you speak to, you were talking about, like, growing up in a Haitian household, and how you felt like moving in the traditional, way, which most of our parents, they were taught that way. So then they, give us that same, idea of what is like the standard. Can you speak to what it was like when you made the decision to move outside of, that
traditional.
Yeah, that traditional way, and how did your parents even accept it,
Yeah, obviously, just like any other parents, right? It was more so like, hey, Jeff, prove it to me, right? Because after I got fired, right, that was pretty much the rude awakening. And just to take it even just a little steps back, a little further, obviously, one of my main goals was to try to make it to the league. When I first started playing sports and going to college, I was trying to be a professional basketball player, and obviously life took a turn. And when I landed my first corporate job, my parents, they were so happy because I graduated, and they were just like, hey, Jeff, you're doing amazing. But something still inside of me just still felt like this wasn't enough. And the minute I got fired, because actually when we was working, man, I always tell DeAndre, like, he's actually one of the people that actually opened my eyes to entrepreneurship. But, before I even got fired, DeAndre, he was in my ear, like, telling me, yo, bro, like, these guys are gonna let us go in 6 months. We're not gonna be here. Bro, we're just a puppet, right? Just going through the motion, and obviously they're gonna replace us with new employees. And in the beginning, I didn't understand what he was saying, because I'm just like, hey, bro, I went to college, I got a degree. Right. What you mean they gonna fire me in 6 months? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be a good employee, I'm gonna work my ass off, but reality hit me 6 months later, and I couldn't believe it. And the first person I called was DeAndre, because he told me, like, yo, bro, we're literally rats in a hamster wheel, right? So the minute we got fired, man, I just told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm never working a job again. you know, like obviously, you know, it's different now, especially now that we're in a whole different age. We have technology, we have laptops, we have cell phone. And ever since I met DeAndre, he actually exposed me to real estate. It was more so like, Mom, I'm never working a job, I'm gonna start my own business, right? Because I feel like I have a better opportunity succeeding in the business world than the corporate world. And ever since then, you know, I took my leap of faith. I, you know, told DeAndre, hey man, I'm all in, let's do this real estate stuff. And I remember closing my first deal, showed my mom a $5,000 check, and I was like, Mom, look, I made this in a week, right? This is just the beginning, but I'm here to show you, like, yo, we're in a different time, different age, and that you can actually make money without clocking in.
Right.
And it was from there, she believed everything I said, and now here we are.
You just had to show and prove.
Had to show her, had to prove it to her.
Word.
You know
Now, I could dig it. So DeAndre, how were you introduced into entrepreneurship and, you know, wanting to be a business owner and you know, having that mindset?
Yeah, so when I was in college, I was taking a train to an internship, and then I met an old friend from high school, and then he was saying about how he was working at this job, they wasn't appreciating him and stuff like that, and he's about to start getting into business, and then he introduced me to this book, you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He told me to read it, and I was like, okay. And then he was just kind of giving me an idea, like these jobs don't appreciate us. I did all this work, and then I'm still being underpaid, so I'm gonna have to do something where I can pay myself,
Right.
kind of thing. So then once I read that book, I met up with him. That's kind of when things changed. We talked about the book, we discussed it, and then from there, I just started to choose my path. And then I just started going on YouTube, looking like, how can I make money with no money? Because I had no money, you know? So, and then one of the first things that popped up was real estate wholesaling. I was like, interested, you know? And I just started watching videos on that, and then I just started, then that's kind of what started the YouTube on how to get started in real estate wholesaling, and then it just took off from there.
Word. Nah, that's what's up, man. That Rich Dad Poor Dad, the poor dad, the one who went to college, had the degree, you know, had his traditional way of doing things and almost frowned upon, you know, other people who did it a different way. But then, you know, this guy's looking at his rich dad, the entrepreneur, barely got a high school, you know, diploma. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that book is a book that I feel like, especially like coming into the newer generation, man, where you'll read that and start looking at your parents a whole different way.
And honestly, that was the book that changed my whole life, because Dre passed that book over to me. He was like, yo, bro, read this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I was at work reading it on my lunch break, and I'm like, boy, I'm about to take my shirt off now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to take off my tie and get the hell up out of here now. Like, but it was training my mindset to be prepared to obviously go that other route. You know what I'm saying? So,
DeAndre, do you remember the first, like your first deal that you locked in?
Yeah, so I remember my first deal. So I was on like Zillow, free website. I was looking on Zillow, and at first I started off with doing the house stuff. So because that's where YouTube took you. I started looking for houses on Zillow, and then I found this house. It was at, you know, it was only like $140,000, right? I knew that I was gonna offer $140,000. The guy had it listed for like $150, all right? So I offered him $140. Surprisingly, he took it. Okay, I was shocked. I was like, wow, he took that offer, right? And then I turned around, I found a buyer at $145, so I ended up making $5,000 on my first deal. So it's kind of like that proof of concept. You know, once it worked, I was like, wow. And then I just started repeating the process over and over again. And then that's when we got introduced to land from one of our friends that introduced us to land. And then once we learned land, everything just skyrocketed. We was doing 8 to 10 deals a month with just vacant lots.
So I want to back up a little bit too, because you said a term earlier that caught my attention. You said, was it called house wholesaling?
Yeah, house wholesaling.
Okay, can you break that down? Because I've never heard that term
before.
before.
So basically, when you're wholesaling houses, you find a rundown house, you know, tall grass, busted windows, boarded up windows, roof caving in. You're looking for like beat up properties in the neighborhood, and you're trying to find out who that owner is. You get in contact with that owner. You basically make them an offer at a real significant discount, and then you turn around and you sell it to a buyer at a higher price. You don't have to use your own money for it. All you're doing is just flipping paper.
Wow.
Wow. You're getting the owner under contract at the price that obviously you guys agreed to. And in that contract, right, what usually makes us all this money is in the contract, there's a clause, an assignability clause that pretty much allows us to assign and market this paperwork to another investor that might want to come in and obviously take it for an extra 5, 10, 15. I mean, it's infinite how much you can make in this business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And Jeff, I know you spoke about, showing your moms that first check for $5,000. But can you speak to the process that it took to get to that first sale?
Man, it was crazy because, after we got fired, right, from Enterprise, obviously the bills didn't stop coming in, so I had to pick up a little part-time job, and I wanted to get a part-time job because I needed something steady income to obviously keep up with the bills, but also invest into this real estate business. So after that, man, I was all in. Me and Dre, we started off wholesaling houses, right? We making calls every day. I mean, bro, I was going through it like 4 months, 5 months in, no results, no money. And a lot of people usually would have quit. They probably would have been like, man, F this, I'm going back to work. But just being in the trenches with Dre and just obviously looking at other people make money, it kept me obviously motivated. And one day I was just like, yo, Dre, there's gotta be something else that we can wholesale. Houses can't be the only thing we can flip out here. And then Dre was pretty much telling me like, yo, we can flip land, we can flip apartment buildings, we can flip gas stations, like, yo, we can flip anything in real estate. Obviously, we just need 2 pieces of paper, right? And I was like, land, hold on, right? It kind of caught my eye because I'm just like, yo, it's dirt. Who the hell gonna buy dirt?
Right.
And, I was up on YouTube and I didn't see any content. I didn't really see anybody talking about it, right? It was literally untapped, right? And I was like, land, I was like, Dre, have you ever tried about? He was like, hey man, it's in my notes. I was gonna get to that eventually, but right now these houses got me busy. And I was like, you know what? Let me tap into this other lane with the land thing and let me try to figure it out. So one night I was just on Zillow, looking at for sale by owners, people who list their properties on Zillow. So I found like a 3,500 square foot lot in Miami. This guy had it listed for 50,000, right? And I was just like, damn, bro, this shit is expensive. Like, this guy want 50K for this small piece of shit. But it was money because it's in Miami, and come to find out, the zoning on that property, whoever bought that property can actually build a duplex on it. So that's why it was worth 50,000. I was like, okay, bet. And when I was looking at it, I was looking at other areas of sold properties around the area, around the same size square footage, and I seen somebody buy a property there for 55,000, and I immediately saw that listing, and I called the realtor, and I was like, hey, Mr. Realtor, hey, Miss Realtor, I see that you guys help sell this property. I was wondering if you guys are looking for any more properties in the area, and she was like, yeah, what do you have? And then I told her what I got, and I pretty much sent it to her, and then she was like, how much? And then I was like, hey, can you do 45,000 for it? And she was like, yeah, send me the contract. So I immediately went back to the owner who had it listed at 50, and I told him, I was like, hey, would you take 40K? And he was like, yeah, I'll take 40K, but you gotta close in a week. And mind you, I didn't have no money, and on top of that, he was like, I also want you to put $5,000 down as a deposit. I didn't even have 5K to my name. So when he told me that, I took that information, I went back to the other lady who wanted the property, and she was like, all right, yeah, we can close in a week, and I could put $5,000 down. So I sent him the contract for $40,000 with $5,000 being put down as an earnest money deposit. He signed the contract at $40,000, and then I sent the other buyer an assignment contract, which is like a one-page piece of paper for $45,000. She signed it at $45,000 with her putting $5,000 down, and then we sent both paperwork to the title company, and literally in a week, I made $5,000.
Wow.
I was at work when the title company called me, and I looked at my apron and I was like, hold on, bro, I'm gone. Like, I was making $200 a week to now driving to Miami to go pick up a $5,000 check. So it was kind of like, yo, this works. This is real. That was my this is real moment, because that was the most amount of money I ever made in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it changed everything.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it's like, as you say it, it sounds like it's easy, like it's quick, but like that's not easy, to do.
No.
And to be able to, I mean, you have to be really resourceful too to do something like that. Because I mean, I think a couple of the biggest things that we think about when it comes to real estate and what deters a lot of us from actually pursuing getting into it, number one, credit. Number two, money, you know, for the down payment. A lot of us are thinking like, man, I got to have $100,000 in the bank to, you know, start buying houses and doing these things. So, you know, a lot of times just information that we don't have, you know what I mean, or knowledge that we don't have will deter us from actually going out and being great.
Right.
Yeah, and you're not lying about that, because when I first was introduced to real estate by DeAndre, I was like, hey man, don't you gotta have a lot of money? Don't you have to have good credit?
Right.
And DeAndre's just like, no bro, like we out here trying to gain capital, and literally wholesaling real estate is the actual best way to get into real estate, right? Because you don't need a license, you don't need a crazy amount of capital. Bro, you can be a felony, like you can come out of jail, like you can be dead broke right now and get into this business, right? And change your life tomorrow, right? So it's the easiest point of entry to get into, right? Without dealing with any politics, because all you need is the information and all you need is the hustle and grit to go out there and make it work and be resourceful, like you said.
Now you just said something. I was about to ask the question, what type of license do you need to do this? You know, and you say you don't even need a license. You don't need any type of license to...
Oh man, we're real estate investors. We don't need any license. And to this day, you know, we've been in this business for over 5 years now, and we don't have a real estate license, right? And that's the thing, right? With wholesaling real estate, all we're doing is pretty much going direct to seller, right? Obviously offering them a discounted price to where we can get them at. And then all we're doing is selling that contract to other home builders, other investors that want to take on the property, right? We're doing all the dirty work for the home builders, right? Because a lot of these guys, they have all the capital in the world, but they don't have all the time in the world to go out and speak to sellers, speak to people that obviously might be interested in selling their property, right? And you don't need a license to do that, right? Because there's different softwares out there that we use, that we obviously are able to get in contact with people who own these properties, and obviously from there it's just a numbers game, right? We're texting people, we're calling people and just saying, hey, you know, my name is Jeff, I'm an investor around the area. Are you interested in selling your property? Just a simple message. Everybody can do that, right? Everybody has literally a phone, a laptop, Wi-Fi, and those are the three things that you need in order to get started in this business.
So at what point do you guys decide that you want to start sharing this knowledge that you guys have obtained with other people and start building this network of other land flippers, home flippers, you know, entrepreneurs, you know, within real estate?
I would say, man, it started when obviously, you know, me and Dre started having some success. You know, I would post some checks. I remember I posted like $25,000 on my story, and a lot of people were like, what the hell? Like, where did Jeff come from with all this money? And at first, you know, obviously I have some friends that were like, yo, are you scamming? Like, what is this? And, you know, I would post these checks, you know, I'll post these checks and people would be like, yo, what do you do? What do you do? And at first I wasn't really broadcasting what I was doing. I was just posting, because, you know, when we was grinding there, like we wasn't on Instagram showboating, but once we started having deals coming through, you know, we'll post and people will literally DM us and say, hey, what do you guys do? What do you guys do? And we'll tell them, hey, we flip land, we do real estate, we wholesale. And then obviously as it grew, right, as we continue to got better at this skill, you know, we just decided, because so many people reached out to us like, hey, I want to learn what you guys are doing. This sounds cool, this sounds interesting. And obviously, like DeAndre said earlier, we met up with a friend. We actually flew out to an event that she had here in Atlanta, because we also networked with another person who was in this business, right? And when we networked with her, it kind of opened us and to other people who started to get to know us as well personally. And it was like, hey, I seen you on this channel, I seen you with her, I heard you guys are flipping land. And it kind of, you know, it spread it like a wildfire, right? Hey, Jeff and DeAndre are making money out here flipping land. And pretty much from there, we just started to pretty much get so many inquiries about it, and we just started our own group, our own community called Land Flipping Empire, and that's when it just kind of grew, just kind of took off from there. I think one day we just made an announcement like, hey, you know, whoever wants to get started in real estate, tap in with us. We're the LFE Academy, join us now. And I remember we had like over 100 messages. I think we ended up making like 10K in one day of just people that signed up and joined our community. And from there, it was just like, hey, the market spoke for itself. People actually want to learn this business and get out of their situation and be financially free. And from there, it was just a game changer.
And if somebody signed up for LFE, what could they expect to, you know, gain out of it?
So they expect to have good mentors. Okay, they can have they have 100% access to us. They can text us, they can pick up the phone and call us, and they have Zoom calls with us as well. But we basically provide a roadmap. Okay, how to flip land from A to Z. We got all the modular training videos. We got all the contracts. We basically have all the resources that they need to be successful in this business. And then if they have gaps, if they have questions, if something is not making sense, if they're getting unmotivated, we're there to motivate them. We're there to hold them accountable. We're there to hold their hand through every deal that they're doing or whatever struggles that they're going through. And then it's also a community aspect to it. So if we have one successful student, other students can reach out to that student. Hey, what did you do? And then we all kind of work together as a community. And then we were also doing deals with other students. Like, you know what? If you want to partner with us on deals, you could do that as well. So you're struggling a little bit, let us meet you halfway there. Yeah. We'll split the profits at closing, okay? So you can expect to have good mentors, solid content, training videos, contracts, and then access to us. And that's a lot of people in this space, they're not willing to help. They'll sell you a course, but they're not willing to give you their phone number. You can't pick up the phone and call them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can pick up the phone and call us.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not too far-fetched. We're not too far ahead. We can help anybody.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, the fact that you even said that you guys do deals with the people that are in your network. I mean, that's huge because, you know, most of the time, you sign up for, this network or, or these coaches or whatever, and like, you're not really able to like tap in with them. They might give you information and, push you off like, all right, go, sell your own house now.
Yeah, or go learn from my assistant. Or,
right.
And it's like, hey man, I paid for your course. I want to talk to you. And I think that's what separates us from other people in real estate in general is like, hey man, you guys can reach out to us and we're here to kind of just help you along the way and cut your time in half. Because that's the main thing, right? A lot of people get in this business and they're like, they're looking at all the free videos on YouTube, how to get started. And, obviously they end up chasing their tail for a really long time because it's like, hey, YouTube is only going to show you how much, to really get to your first deal, but where you really excel, where you really cut your time in half is obviously investing into mentorships, joining communities, so that way you can actually get the real knowledge, the real sauce to, starting your real estate journey.
Yeah, no, that's real because it's more than just theory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more than just like, okay, do A, do B, and you get C. Like you said, like the sauce. Like you gotta, like there
details.
Exactly.
It's real details.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even like just like giving people an understanding of like the type of discipline that you have that they may need to have to be able to get to the point of where you're at. Like those are the types of things and those intangibles that like
that matters.
Yeah,
it matters.
Really.
But those are the stipulations though. We said if we're gonna do this, we're not gonna be like those coaches or those gurus on the internet that sell you a course and then when you join it, you can't talk to the person.
Yeah.
And then you have no help. We said, we're gonna do this, we're gonna help people, like truly help people, hold their hand, walk them step by step, and then we're gonna stand by what we say. And when people join, they're actually surprised when we answer the phone, or they're surprised when we text them back, or write them back, like, wow, you just wrote me back. Yeah, I just wrote you back. They're not used to it.
Yeah.
They spent money on all these bad courses and they get into a good one and they're not used to it, so that it works,
And how did the Land Flipping Empire Academy get started?
Well, the Empire Academy came when, so Jeff kind of came up with the idea after people was doing the DMs and stuff, and then we started brainstorming on names. Like, what kind of name can we come up with? What can kind of relate? And then he's like the guy that comes up with all the names, and he was like, Land Flipping Empire. And I'm the type to be like, I like it. Let's go with it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go with it. Yeah. So that's kind of where the name came from. And then I did my part. I'm more of like the person on the back end. I basically started putting together and started looking at what platforms can we use to bring a community together, because there's a lot of platforms you can use. So we wanted to just look for something where we could bring everybody here. We can monetize it, of course, but then everybody can help everybody. So we wanted the videos. We wanted to be able to have contracts on there. We wanted to just have all the resources in one place so that you didn't need to just be all over the place. Like, go here for this, go here for that. No, you log into the Land Flipping Empire Academy, you have everything you need. Videos is here, contracts is there. DeAndre and Jeff are right there also. Yeah. And then the other students are there as well, so everything is literally all in one place.
And at the touch of your phone screen too, because we also have an app as well, so people can literally ask questions through an app. We make it very, very easy for people to get into this business.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you know the next question that I gotta ask, you know, with seeing DJ Envy and his partner, you know, with all the legal issues that they're having now with, you know, people saying that what they've been doing is a scam, you know, with getting these people almost in like a Ponzi scheme type of situation. How can people be ensured that, you know, when they link with you guys, that this is legit and that this is something that they can, you know, like put their money in and not get bamboozled?
Yeah, so the thing about those guys, they were raising capital from people, and then deploying their money into projects. And then the projects wasn't getting done. They never actually bought something, or, you know, they just took the money and just paying old investors with new investor money. So we don't raise capital from people. We don't do that. We have a course. The most basic package is $149 a month. That comes with everything. If you're not happy or if you're not satisfied with what you're learning, you can get a full refund. For, you know, if you absolutely got no value for what we gave, then we'll give you a full refund. You know what I'm saying? So if we're not providing you the value that you need and you're not happy, then we don't deserve to be paid for it, okay? And then everything is also on a month to month. So we're not locking you in saying you gotta be with us for a year.
Gotcha.
You gotta be with us for 6 months. You gotta be with us for 5 years. We ain't telling nobody that. You're with us as long as you wanna be there. Yeah. You can stay as long as you need, or you can leave as fast as you want to.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no 6 month, 1 year, 2 year commitment.
Yeah.
So we did it that way because we don't want people to feel trapped. If you want to spend the money, we want it to be natural, we want it to be genuine, and then we don't want it to be, hey, I know, like for example, somebody signed up for 1 month, and let's say we are locking in for 6 months, and then they signed up on month 1 and they don't like it. Now they got to spend more money for the next 6 months. I don't want that. If you signed up month 1, you're not feeling it.
That's real.
That's fine. Yeah. All right. You know, it was. I'm glad you gave it a shot because it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be a hustler. You got to be ambitious. You got to want to put in the work.
Right.
So we're not holding anybody hostage. If you're not happy with the services, you get a full refund. It's just that simple, and you stay as long as you want.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just basically game for sale.
Game for sale.
And they learn it from 2 people that's actually in this business. You know, there's a lot of gurus out there. All they do is sell a course. They don't even actually go out and do deals anymore.
Yep.
All they focus on is, hey, I did a few deals 2-3 years ago. Even though I'm not in this business no more, I got the knowledge. So here is my course on what I learned 2-3 years ago. But the thing is, real estate is always constantly evolving, right?
Changing, yeah.
Things are always changing. The market is always changing. And we're actually still in this business. You know, me and DeAndre, we got our own separate land business, right? So we have a team of employees that obviously runs and do certain things for us. But that's where we come in and pretty much kind of extend that value. It's like, hey, we're in the market with you guys. We know what's going on. We're here to actually update you on certain things that are changing, right? So that way they can adapt and change with the market as well. Because a lot of people, they don't know what's going on in the market. They're just here to sell you a course on what they learned 2-3 years ago. That doesn't even work in 2024. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a big thing, bro, because dog, you gotta actually learn from people who's still doing business, still doing deals. And honestly, you know, we got the HUDs to back it up. We can show them receipts. And we also got students that's killing. You know, we have a 20-year-old from Dallas, Texas. Her name's Brooklyn. Dude, she came with us, she joined our mentorship. She made over $100,000 in less than 4 months. Wow. And she was a full-time college student. And it's like, hey, if she can do it, anybody else can do it. And obviously we got hundreds of people that we turn into 6-figure earners, 7-figure earners. But yeah, man, and the reason why is because they're learning from people like us who's actually in this business, who's making 6-7 figures every single year, no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
And can you speak to that a little more, just because that was going to be my next question, about you guys having over 100 people that have made 6 figures plus, and you know, I mean, you guys have, you know, a reputable, you know, students or people who have followed your guys' you know, course, proven track record with what you guys are doing.
Of course,
So then, a movie that made me realize really how important real estate is was The Founder. the movie about, you know, the guy who, I mean, not the actual guy who founded McDonald's, but we know the story of, you know, the guy who got with the two brothers that first started McDonald's, and then he started the McDonald's like corporation where they were buying real estate to then put the McDonald's, you know, on. So that when I watched that movie and saw his business model with that just gave me a whole different thought process of how real estate works and how land works. You know what I mean?
Powerful.
And the fact that the actual land is more valuable than the building that's on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So. Had you guys seen that movie as well?
Of course. I've seen it about 3 times. I watched it a couple times.
That's one of my favorite movies, man.
Yeah.
That shit is powerful.
That and The Banker, if you haven't seen The Banker.
Okay, no, haven't seen
Oh
that.
man, it's basically about 2 black guys that got into real estate, but at the time it was illegal for black people to own banks. Okay, and then the black guy had to partner up with a white guy, like they have a white face, you know. So then they were going around, they owned the bank, and then they was going around buying up real estate because they wouldn't give any black people financing.
Wow.
So that's why he partnered up with a white guy, but the white guy died, and then that's kind of where things went, that turned left, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then nobody wanted to do business with black people, and then you'll be black, you'll own an apartment building, and then they'll see black people working on this stuff. They're like, who are you? And it's like, I own this building. And then the white people will move out, you know what I'm saying? So The Banker was, if you want to add that on, you can add that to them too.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, definitely got to tap into that. What's the most difficult part about what you guys do? Because, you know, you can post on the gram the checks that you're making, you know, and showing all of these, you know, profits that you're making off of, you know, selling these houses or selling the land. But then, you know, how you said months go by without a sale, or at least in the beginning, you know, like how difficult it was in the beginning. Can you just speak to the hardships of what you guys do and the difficult parts of it that people need to understand as well?
So one of the most difficult things is probably dealing with the sellers. Okay, when you're reaching out to these vacant land owners who bought these vacant lots 10, 15, 20 years ago, all right, they want a certain price. They want $1 million for a piece of land only worth $100,000. You know, so negotiating with those people, talking to those people, we call them tire kickers, okay? That's gonna be the hardest part, all right? Definitely dealing with the sellers and getting the property under contract, as in you and the seller sign a contract together at a discount, at enough of a discount where you can turn around and resell it. So out of all the things, that's one of the most difficult. That's probably number one. Number two, I would say when it comes to vacant land, when you're dealing with the buyers, there's certain stipulations with land, like utilities, like does it have access to water, right? Is there electricity? Is there power poles around? You know, is this land, you know, does it have environmental issues? Is there some type of owl or some type of endangered species on it, okay? So those are some of the things that you can run into with the land itself. But I would definitely put those two the hardest things, dealing with the sellers and then actually the land itself and making sure that it's feasible, AKA making sure that it's, and you know, that it passes the inspections so that the buyer can actually build a house or whatever they intend to do, okay?
And then I'll also like to add, mindset-wise as well, being consistent, right? Are you able to do the same thing every single day without instant gratification, right? And I feel like a lot of people, you know, when they hear a opportunity like wholesaling land, and it's like, hey, I can make $5,000 to $10,000 every month, but it's like, hey, do you have the mental discipline to actually stay consistent and do the things every single day without obviously inspecting anything, you know? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they even jump into different industries, they give themselves, you know, obviously short-term gratification to where it's like, hey, if I don't make a certain amount by next month, I'm gonna quit and try something else. And that's where we lack as a community, is doing the same thing over and over for a long period of time without expecting results, right? Because at the same time, as long as you're doing the same thing, focusing on the things that we have laid out, you will be successful, you know? And I would just say just staying consistent, having persistency is also one of the main things and one of the hardest things that people have or lack when getting started.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline.
For sure. How do you guys find the people that own the land And then also, like, how do you find the people that you're selling to as well? Because I heard you earlier when you were talking about that deal that you made, and all I was thinking about was, okay, how did you even find these people to be able to even make this happen?
So currently right now, we're using the Flip4 CRM. So a CRM, it stands for the Customer Relationship Management. So it's basically a software where you manage all your leads, and then you can market to people, text people, and call people, okay? So we use that software in order to send messages, mostly texting that we do, text these vacant landowners, and we're just doing nothing but sending them inquiries. Hey, my name is DeAndre, I buy land in the area. Are you interested in selling your vacant lot on 123 Main Street? And then the same thing with the buyers. We find the buyers, we like to call buyers, so we like to text the sellers, but we like to call the buyers, you know? Call the buyers, hey, my name is DeAndre. I find vacant land for home builders in the area. Okay, are you still looking for land to buy? Are you looking to build? How much are you paying? Where are you paying at? What areas are you looking for? Zip codes, cities, counties, subdivisions, okay? But using Flip4, you're able to text them, call them, keep them in certain pipelines and areas where okay, all my buyers are here, all my sellers are in this area here, or in this part of my CRM, and then that's basically how you find them. And it helps them.
And the best part about it, man, anybody can do this anywhere in the country, right? You can wholesale in all 50 states, right? And the best thing about it, it's virtual, like DeAndre said. Majority of the people that we text, obviously who own the land, we barely get on the phone with these guys. We're literally texting them, right? Because we realized a lot of people respond faster to text than through cold calling. And the Flip4 CRM app allows us to text 1,000 people every single day. And we know it's a numbers game, right? But imagine texting 7,000, 10,000 people a week, right? That's responding, hey, yes, I want to sell my property, right? I did a deal out here in Georgia. I live all the way in Florida. I sent a random guy a text message, right? He owned an acre here in Atlanta, right? Mind you, I'm in Florida. I've never seen this property ever in my life. I sent him a text message. I said, hey, Mr. Seller, are you interested in selling? He was like, yes, I'm interested. I want $20,000 for my property. And what I realized, I was like, whoa, he's asking really low, right? I went ahead, I got him under contract at $20,000, and I went ahead and sold that same property to another developer here in Georgia for $40,000. And literally 30 days later, I made $20K just off a text message. I didn't get on the phone with him. Dude, he didn't even want to talk to me. He just said, hey, get it done. Here's my email, send me a contract, let's get it done, right? And it was the smoothest thing ever, but without Flip4, I wouldn't have been able to text them. I wouldn't have been able to negotiate through text, right? And literally, we do this all over the country, right? You can do this in Florida. Man, you can live in Georgia, flipping land in Florida. You can be in Florida, flipping land all the way in California, right? And everything is right in front of us, guys, right? We have different softwares, we have different apps that we use, right? That allows us to obviously pull the list, pull the people that we want to talk to in the area, put them in our database, which is our Flip4 CRM. And then once we send out those text blasts, now it's just all just texting, communication, right? And I always tell people, man, like, if you got an iPhone, you should not be broke in 2024, right? Everything is in front of us, right? Everybody's scrolling through Instagram, everybody's gossiping, texting, creating group chats. And it comes down to like, yo, who are you talking to at the end of the day, right? We're talking to landowners. We're talking to people who own pieces of land, because we're over here providing value to home builders, people who want to build, and people who are actually looking for land out here. All we do is provide value. So, we spend our time texting landowners all day, right? Because obviously we know if we get the right property at a discount under contract, we can go ahead and make 5, 10, 10,000, 20,000 off one play, off one deal. So it's like, hey, we rather spend our time doing that all day, which is texting people who own pieces of land.
And then I knew it was real when I texted one owner in Florida, about 8 hours away from where I live. I didn't go see the land, nothing. So I text the guy, me and the guy, we agreed to $250,000 for this 1 acre parcel, and then the buyer agreed to pay $320 for it, right? So then I'm like, that's $70,000. Like, it ain't feel real, but I got them contracts locked up, and then 30 days later, I'm like, nah, this, I'm in my head like, this not real, this not finna happen. And then 30 days later, I get a incoming wire for $70,000, and I'm just like, and this was all through texting.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I was like, wow, this is real. I'm telling you, I remember him, we was literally in the car that day driving, And then the wire came in. I gave him my phone, and then we almost went crazy.
Yeah, my mouth dropped. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we hit the lottery, but with us, it's like, hey, bro, you can hit the lottery every month.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People spending money for scratch-offs to make a quick band. Like, yo, bro, we making that every single month.
Yeah.
You know, and it's everybody has the opportunity to do this business. You know, it just all comes down to the information. Obviously, you need to learn the information, and you got to surround yourself around people who's actually doing the business, who's passionate about it, and who actually can help you cut your time in half to get your first deal.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, bro, you can come from nothing. You can get out of jail. Like, you can be fresh out of jail and get into this business and start immediately.
Okay, so okay, let's say, all right, 24-year-old cat, I'm at the house, just got done playing Warzone, just jumped on YouTube to peep out off the porch, my favorite platform, and I just watched your guys' interview. What should be my next step? You know, I don't want to just work a traditional job. I want to be an entrepreneur and work for myself. So I'm watching your guys' video and I'm inspired. What should be my next, you know, few steps without giving too much game that you guys are, you know, gonna give me a course, but you know what I mean, just to help the, you know, the person that's sitting there watching, like, all right, what do I need to do next? Like, you know.
Well, what I would tell them to do, if they go to the landflipempire.com, they can join the free version of our academy. So we have a free version. Okay. It's obviously limited access, but you still see everything.
Y'all giving game away for free too?
You see what's going on in the group. You see the questions that's being asked. You know, you see people, hey, just close this deal. We want you to join the free version of it, so you can see it happening in front of you versus you spending your money, oh man, I don't know what's going on. You can basically give yourself your own trial period. You can say, you know, I'm gonna join this free version of the academy, see what these guys talking about. I mess with it, I sign up. If I don't mess with it, I don't sign up. Or you never sign up at all, and then you could just, pick up on how much, you know, as much as you can within the free version of it. But you don't gotta spend any money. You can literally join the free version of our academy, and then the academy is gonna speak for itself. So you can go to the website, thelandflipperempire.com, and hit join free academy, or you can personally text or call me at 561-223-9560, and then I'll respond to you and then answer whatever kind of question that you have. So you can take those steps, or if you don't want to deal with us at all, you just go to YouTube, how to flip vacant land, and start your way there. So I think those are some good actionable steps.
Yeah, there's a few videos that we have on YouTube, and then
Free.
also there's
all free.
There's plenty of videos out there that can actually help them get started and start taking action, right? But obviously, you know, for the people out there that's trying to get to the bread as fast as they can, right? That's where, you know, hey man, you got to pay with your money instead of paying with your time. Because I feel like, hey, you can go ahead and start on YouTube, but you're gonna have to pay with your time. You're gonna have to spend maybe 6 months trying to get your first deal with no guidance, no mentorship. But hey, if you have all the time in the world, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get your first deal without paying for any mentorship or, you know what I'm saying, for anything. But obviously, if you want to actually learn and treat it like you're trying to earn a degree, you're trying to be in school and actually learn from people who are making money, you got to invest, right? That's where you pay with your money, so that way, you know what I'm saying, you can get to your goal a lot faster. And that's one thing I would say was the biggest game changer, you know, because when I first started off, I didn't have any mentors. I was just kind of man, I'm gonna get this out the mud. And I did, but it took me 5 months to get my first deal, which it took too long. But if I would have figured out and invested into a mentor, who knows, it would have took me probably a month to get my first deal, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, either or, you can't win, but we can reach out to us, reach out to the landflipperempire.com, and man, from there, we're here to actually serve and help the next person get into this business and change their life, because not too many people know about this business. It's still an untapped business, right? A lot of people here are wholesaling houses more than wholesaling land. And I know people are driving past vacant land every day. They don't even know, like, bro, you can make $10,000 just off of this little dirt right here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we're just here to kind of bring awareness to let people know, like, bro, it's money in your backyard. Y'all drive past money every day, right? Just pick up the phone, provide value, and get them on a contract, and then sell it to another home builder who might want to buy that property, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Right. Nah, that's what's up. You guys got any shout outs that you want to give before we get out of here?
Oh man, shout out to everybody in our academy that's taking action. Shout out to God. Shout out to my parents, shout out to everybody, man, that just supports us, that loves us. And man, we're gonna keep this thing rolling.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate y'all sharing so much game.
Yeah.
For everybody, make sure y'all check out Land Flipping Empire. Tap in with these guys. And man, appreciate y'all pulling up and jumping off the porch with us, man, and just sharing, you know, your guys' story and some game, you know, on how, you know, we can expand, you know, what we're doing, you know, on the entrepreneur tip.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. All right, bet.
My bass hitting hard and my pockets on full. I got it out the streets, I ain't never go to school. I play the rear view.